everybody, and welcome to my tutorial today, which is Roots and Shoots, which is all about making positive change happen. And I just hope by the end of this tutorial, you'll be as inspired by this website as I am. So before we begin, I'm just going to say a little bit about myself. My name is Hannah, and I've been teaching for 10 years now in the lovely southwest of England. I studied at the University of Plymouth, studying primary education, and I chose to specialise in early childhood studies. So therefore, I went on to teach reception to begin with, which I did for 5 years. But then I moved into Key Stage 2 just for a bit of a change and taught children aged 7 and 8, which was different but fab. I've currently taken a step back from the classroom because I've got 3 young children of my own, and it's quite chaotic, but it also means I can engage in these great projects and I'm introduced to these great resources as well. So when and if I do go back into the classroom, I can take them with me, and this is when I think I definitely would. So as a teacher, I teach what I have to. I have the curriculum. It's quite heavy. There's lots in there. You know, we have to spend a lot of time teaching English and maths, those two predominantly, and then we squeeze in the rest where we can. So we have the sciences and everything else that goes into the curriculum. But for some time I felt like there was something missing, and I felt like there needs to be a place in the curriculum for teaching about the planet and what's going on, because it's something that we are all so aware of now, and it's something that needs to be it just needs a place, really. We need to know what we're teaching and impart our knowledge to the children, because they are the ones who have their whole lives to make these changes, because if we don't do that, the cycle's not going to be broken, and the children aren't going to know what needs to be done. So there seems to me that there are 2 main problems. So the first one is that there isn't much room in the UK curriculum for this vital subject. So if you are teaching maybe lessons on habitats, you may just put on the end that habitats are changing because of climate change and deforestation. Or you may be teaching something else and you just put in there about climate change, but there's no real place for it, that this has to be taught. There's nothing compulsory, particularly in the primary age range, or nothing substantial, sorry. The second problem is that without this statutory guidance, even if teachers do want to teach it and make sure it's getting into the children are teaching, there's not the support there and the resources and how to teach it and how to make that impact. So maybe teachers wouldn't teach it because they don't know how, or they haven't got the support that they need. And that's where the Roots and Shoots is great, because this is what it's about. So what is Roots and Shoots? So Roots and Shoots is an organisation founded by Dr. Jane Goodall. It's an education programme to support teachers and children to make a positive change for the world we live in. But it's not just for teachers. It's for any educators. Anybody who's working with children who needs any kind of support, whether it's in the community, whether it's in a group or a club, or anything really, this is a great place to come to for ideas. Just a few bits before I go onto the website and show you more. It is supported by donations, so these resources are free. You'll see in a moment, but there are so many of them. And it's so wonderful that teachers and educators can just go in and download them and use them if they're not able to make a donation. It gives a bank of resources for the full primary and secondary, for primary and secondary teachers. It's for the full age range. They can be adapted and changed to suit whoever you're teaching. But it's more than just a bank of resources, and I think that's really important to note. It's opportunities to connect with other schools, and also you can win awards. There's all sorts, so we'll have a good look in just a second. And before we go any further, it's really important just to take some time just to talk about Dr. Jane Goodall, because the work that she has done in her life is so important, and it's really critical that you know who she is to understand Roots and Shoots and why she founded it, to understand her. So she is a British primatologist, ethologist, and anthropologist. Uh, she's had such a wonderfully long career of 60 years plus, but she's best known for 45 years she spent living in the in Goom National Park with the chimpanzees. So she was living, breathing, studying chimpanzees for all this time. And while she was doing that, she was able to make some groundbreaking discoveries. So things that scientists had thought for a long time she could dispel because she had seen it, she had been there. So, for instance, for a long time it was thought that chimpanzees were vegetarians. Actually, Jane Goodall observed them and saw them hunting and eating meat. She also saw how chimps were able to use tools, and just how similar their behaviour is to humans. And she just basically transformed our understanding of the primates and their social behaviours. But since then, she's gone on to do even more wonderful things. So she's the founder of the Jane Goodall Institute, which is a wildlife and environment conservation organisation, which again is quite a lot to do with the primates and the wildlife. She's the UN Ambassador for Peace. She works with DocuSign for forests, so that's to do with the forestries and trees. And of course, Roots and Shoots, which is a program to inspire the world's younger generation. And just before I do go over to the website, these are some of the things that I've put together because from all my reading of Roots and Shoots and Jane Goodall, these things just jumped out at me of why it's so brilliant and why it's so important. So Roots and Shoots is about making positive change happen. That's really important. It's about making things better for the future by educating children. It's about creating compassionate change makers and empowering children to be able to make that change. That's the important thing. Children, they want things to change, but sometimes they don't know how. So it's up to us to create those compassionate change makers. It's a network that branches across the world. It's not just a UK thing. It's global. It's a place where young people can come together and share their ideas and inspire each other. And I think that's really important because it helps others to try and have a go. Once you've seen that somebody has successfully completed a project and they've been able to make positive change, then we can too, and it empowers them to try. It shows children how to follow their passions, take action together, and become the change our world needs. And just that every individual can make a difference, and every little thing, even if you think it's insignificant, it's not. Everybody can make a change. I think one of the main things as well that stands out about Jane Goodall is that she just promotes that if you believe you can do it, you can. You know, it's just believing and doing. So let me take you over to the website. Let me just go back to the homepage. So when you arrive at Roots and Shoots, this is the homepage. This is the first thing that you'll see. You'll see this lovely image here, which I love because it kind of is what it's all about with the children and with their project. And it just provides you with some more information about Roots and Shoots. So it's about encouraging children to implement practical positive change for people, animals, and the environment. And I love that because it's not just about one thing, it's not just about another thing, it's everything. It's about making positivity wherever you are, whatever you're doing. So it's supported here by Colin Firth, which is great. It's lovely to have some famous faces endorsing project. This homepage has quite a lot of just headlines and highlights of the website. So here we have a section about the twinning program, which I'll look at a little bit later. We've got Jane Goodall's Hopecast, which again I'll look at a little bit closer. Here are some featured activities. These come into the resources area, the mission updates and the latest news. Again, they're all along the tab at the top. And just at the bottom here, you've got the social media. And because it's all about sharing the work that you're doing and the projects you're having a go at, sharing them is great for other schools to have a look to see what you're doing. And just at the bottom, you've got the sponsors here, who we're twinned with, and the partners. So whilst we're on this page, I'm just going to stop here at Jane Goodall's Hopecast. So the Hopecast is just a lovely resource for whatever you want to use it for. So it's a podcast, it's something to listen to, and it's Jane Goodall along with guests. So I'm just going to click on this because this will take you to Spotify where you can access it. Okay, so here is Dr. Jane Goodall's Hopecast. And if you have a click on see all episodes, you'll see that there are lots of them. So we've got the introduction just here, which is just 2 minutes, but the rest of them are a little bit longer. They've all got their times here. So you could use this for a variety of reasons and ways. So you may use it specifically as part of a lesson. It might be something that you've listened to and you want the children to listen to input into your lesson. You may have a guest speaker that you'd like your children to listen to. It may be that your children just need some calm down time, and a 20-minute podcast that's inspirational and full of hope, that's the perfect way to do it. So if I just scroll down, you'll see that there are so many podcasts with great titles. It's worth just going in and having a look, and it's just very easy from the website to click onto it and go into it and have a little look for yourselves. But you can just see there are lots and lots and lots of them. So, I mean, just stopping here, hope is all we can learn from animal teachers. It's just, I don't know, it's thought-provoking as well. You may find that you listen to them with your class and then, gosh, it takes you somewhere completely different with their questions or things they want to find out or things they want to do from them. So they really are worth a listen. So I'm still going down, okay, just to show you how many there are. But yeah, very easy. Just click on the Hopecast here, the title, and it will take you to it. So I'm just going to take you back to the top. So here is the menus, I suppose, and I'm going to do it quite systematically so I don't miss anything out. Starting with who we are. So I've said quite a bit about roots and shoots to give you an idea of what it is, but I will scroll down. If you click onto this one here, it's got more about who, what, and the whys of roots and shoots. And I love this section here. It's powerful and it's youth driven. It's all about young children, because they are the ones who can do this. They can make these changes. There's lots of lovely. I could read it all to you, but I won't. I'll let you have a read read yourself. But it's all about flexibility. It's fun. It's not serious. It's about just trying and having a go. So there's the mission: to foster respect and compassion for all living things, to promote understanding of all cultures and beliefs, and to inspire each individual to take action to make the world a better place for people, animals, and environment. It's such a perfect time to be doing this presentation as well because of the world and where we're at with it all. So I'm going to move on to resources, because this is the section that, as a teacher, I would probably hone in on the quickest if I was looking for something to teach. So here we have the title activities, and there are lots of them. So if I start to scroll down, you can start to see some of the main titles here. Twinning program. So again, I'll come back to twinning program. If you were doing that, there's some great activities in there for it. And the Montessori Centre International. I forgot to say, actually, Roots and Shoots is funded by Montessori Centre International. And although I mentioned that these resources are free, and that's great for if you need to just download them and you can't make a donation, but if you can, it's very much appreciated, and you can do that through these make a donation boxes here. So here we start with my local area, Roots and Shoots 30. So it's Roots and Shoots' 30th birthday. Groom 60, so 60 years since she went to the national park. So there'll be a lot here about Jane's story, her time in Tanzania. Okay, Jane's lost notebook. So if you were doing some lessons on Jane Goodall herself, so this would be a great place to look. Then we move on to things like reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, we've got people, about learning about helping and cultures around the world. Forests. So Dust Bowl goes into where the rains haven't come and there are dust storms, the food's not growing. What can you do to help? It's about understanding. There's a lot about wildlife here and soil, dry and dusty environments. Plenty there. And then we have Ice World, it's about climate change, and Water World, which is again about floods. Ideas for fundraising. And then we have some miscellaneous areas. It's worth noting as I do scroll through these, something that I found slightly difficult about Roots and Shoots' resources section is that the organisation can be a little bit confusing. So when I click, it'd be quite handy. If I go into my local area, it would be quite handy to know what age this lesson here is for. Is it a Key Stage 1 lesson? Is it a Key Stage 2 lesson? Is it a Key Stage 3 lesson? Just so that as a teacher, I could have a good idea of how much adapting I would do. If it's a Key Stage 3 based one, I probably wouldn't even look at it for a Key Stage 1 because it's too big a gap. So just knowing that as a quick glance would be really helpful. It'd also be quite helpful as a quick glance just to see if there are any extra links, cross-curricular links. So if there's one here which I imagine is maths because it's pie charts, but the rest of them I'm not sure if it has got any English cross-curricular links or science, and I think that would probably help teachers, or they may use it more because this subject hasn't got a place in the curriculum. If they can make it as part of English or as part of maths or as part of science, they may be more likely to use it. So let's have a look at what these lessons look like. So if I go into local Safari, this is what it will look like. So you have a bit more information about it. So this activity will help students understand some of the obvious and lesser known creatures which live in their local area and gain an insight as to how these animals provide food for one another. That's just an overview of what this lesson is. I think it's also really important to note that you can use these lessons how you like. There's no set way to do it. It's not that you follow them by the book, or you have to do this. You can take bits, you can use the things that you want to, you can adapt it, you can change it, you can spread it out, not all for one lesson. I'm just going to show you then how we download it. So very simply, you click on the button and it will download it and it will come into your bar at the bottom, and then you click on it, and this is what it looks like. So from here you can either use it on your computer screen, which would be the greener way to do it, or you can print it off if you'd prefer. So there's a lot of information in this one. So it's called Local Safari. They look great. They've got so much in them. So you have the objectives. What do I need to make it work? What things will my students create? It's time for Local Safari. So it's kind of going through how you could use this lesson. Preparation, classification, expedition. You could add a competition in there. Now, because there's quite a lot of information, what I've done just to show you how this resource could be used is I've created a bit of a lesson. So I've decided that I would like to do Local Safari with a Year 2 class, so they're age 6 and 7. And this would be the first lesson. Now I've had a look through and there's such a lot in here. There's absolutely no way I can put all of this into one lesson. And in the UK, we have 1 hour of science a week. So to be able to go on a safari, do food webs, food chains, pyramids of biomass, think about the local ecosystems, and create something at the bottom, you just can't do it. So I've had a look through and decided for what I think would be a good first lesson. So I've created this. And I've called it Local Safari, find out what's living near us. So quite simply, I've taken some of the aims that I think I want to focus on in this lesson. Okay, I've realised that I can't fit food webs in yet, and the first thing I would do is go on this this expedition to find the creatures living in the area that we have, which would be woodland. What might we find? So I've had a look back and I've taken their suggestions completely because I think they're great. So if I just go down, it suggests, let me have a look, it suggests showing the group photos of animals that you think. And I've taken these photos from these links are great. So I took the photos on my PowerPoint from Species Explorer. Okay, so what might we find? These are the kinds of things we'd find in the woodlands near me. Do they pose any risks? That was suggested by them. What do we need to think about when we're looking for insects? Could they hurt us? How can we not hurt them? What do we need to do when we found them? Leave them alone. And what other animals might we find? Because then that could lead into the food webs in the future. Then it suggests going on to the classification. Now I've put this on here today because I'm not teaching a lesson, but if I was teaching a lesson, I'd probably print them off and we'd learn about them and maybe mix and match. But there's also, not forgetting these fab links, information sheets that you can click on. So this local safari animal classification is perfect for if you're going out and about. You could take this with you and then you've got it straight away just to look back at. I think that's really a really great resource. So we do the classifying, then we go on the expedition. So these are all again taken from Roots and Shoots. So what animal do they think it is? The classification, so there you've got your sheet that you can use. How many times you saw the animal, take a photo of it, and note the environment it's living in. Okay, so they would have a grid to take with them. Again, this was taken from here. So if I think it was just a little further down. So past the preparation, expedition, here we are, look, another great link that would take you to this sheet. So it's really worth taking your time and using these. So the children in my class would go out and record what we found. Then we'd come back and we would share it all, share our discoveries, show the photos, what did we find, how many times, what did we see the most. You could make it into a competition, which is suggested here. It suggests turning it into a competition where you could see who finds the biggest animal, the smallest, the strangest, which I thought was really fun. And that would be enough for one lesson. So I put great work. Next week we will use what we have found in this lesson to learn about food webs and how important they are for everything, even us. So going back to here, you would carry on next week using the information on here on this same download into food chains and webs. But that's just an example of how I would use these resources because there is a lot. There's a lot on there. And it could be a little bit overwhelming, but if you just pick out what would work for you, always thinking what works for you and the children that you're teaching or working with, that's the best place to start. And you've got some fun activities at the bottom. So if I just head back out of that. So yeah, so these are, because there's so much here, it's great just to have a look and see what your you want to find, basically. And the great thing is there's a search button. So if you wanted to search butterflies, if you wanted a lesson on butterflies, sorry, you could type into the search bar, and there you have it, rather than hunting through everything. You've got all sorts here, pollinators, all sorts. There's so much on here, it's wonderful. If I just go down to the bottom of resources, you can also, there's also a termly focus. If you definitely wanted a longer one, and this one is where does your food come from, which is a really fascinating one for children who many haven't even thought about where their food comes from. There's other downloads, there's forms, so if you want to use photos, newsletters, posters, stickers, and all sorts. It's also worth mentioning, whilst I'm on the resources section, that there is a resources pack that if you sign up, which you don't have to do just to download the resources, if you want to become more invested in Roots and Shoots, you sign up, you would be sent a resource pack. But you can also request one, and it looks a bit like this, and that would be sent to you. So you've got mission booklets, mission tracker poster, and all sorts. Teacher's guide, awards posters, which would be worthwhile having a look at as well. So moving along, I'm just going to go on to mission updates. So mission updates are the stories from other schools. So this is a place that you can share your wonderful work and get inspiration of what's worked for other people, other schools. And it's a really good read. It's a really good one, good to look at with the children in your class so they can see firsthand as well. So if I just click on the first one here, so we've got Hollycombe Primary School, who they're doing an In Touch with Nature project update. So this is a project that's been going on for a while, and it's all about planting. If they can plant, we can plant. They've been planting for a while, and now they're looking at the next stage, some hedging on the playing field to provide more habitat, to entice birds, so that berries will grow. So these are all the things that they're doing, and they'll keep updating Roots and Shoots so everyone can see the great work they're doing and some photos. So maybe in January, February, they'll put some photos on of the planting that they've been doing. And the awards. Now, this is another really great aspect of Roots and Shoots, because it could give the children, classes, groups, individuals, the recognition of what they're doing. So basically every year, and I'm sure it's March time, there is an award ceremony, Roots and Shoots award ceremony, with lots of categories that anybody can enter. So if you were to enter and you were a finalist, you'd read these National Geographic books. But for each category, there's a gold, silver, and bronze award. And I just think it's such a fantastic idea although children are encouraged, because if they plant trees, they'll see the good they're doing in the everyday. But for somebody as significant as Jane Goodall to recognise it as well, and the hard work they've put into their projects, I think is really special. So here you just have information about how you submit a project entry. And you've just got some of the titles here. So there's a photographic competition and an award for individual endeavour. There's all sorts. RSPCA sponsors the Most Outstanding Group Award. So this is about, it could be rescuing animals. It could be, it's all anything. I mean, we know what kind of thing good and to make these changes. Kew Gardens Grow Wild programme sponsors Most Outstanding Group in Touch with Nature Award. I mean, if you're working in a school and you're already doing some of these projects, or you've got these projects in the pipeline, it's worth registering with Roots and Shoots and updating and letting them know of your mission before you've even started. Compassion in Wild Farming sponsors a Most Outstanding Project Award. People Tree sponsors a Roots and Shoots ethical fashion show, which sounds great fun. And it just says who's eligible. Any member school submitting a project for consideration is eligible. So if you sign up, you can join in with this great award, or you could be entered into the awards. So again, if it's something that you're thinking about, it's really worth having another look at. Then the twinning program, I love this as well. The twinning program is between the United Arab Emirates and the UK. So this is just is linking schools, and I think it's such an important thing to do for children to have that connection to a different culture, with different ways of living, different wildlife, different, everything. It's about opening their mind and seeing that actually there's a big world out there, and having that connection where you can really work together and you can talk and you can do activities together and you can connect, I think is invaluable, especially for children who maybe don't have the opportunity to go abroad or to go out and do various things. Having this opportunity in school is amazing, and just as amazing for the children in the United Arab Emirates to see how things are over here, because we're worlds apart. So anyone can sign up for this as well. It's very simple to sign up. It does take quite a lot of input. You probably need a designated teacher or a member of staff to do this. It takes a lot of organisation and communication, but it's really worth it. And the goals of these of twinning are things: language development, cultural understanding. You may have a specific educational development if you wanted to share these. An exchange program, which you could over time you could visit. Pen pal, email communications with children, great for English language development. And there's just some more information here as we scroll down to that you could have a read through if it's something you wanted to. Again, it's a and then they'll get back in touch with you so you can then take the steps to make it happen. And the last box here is news and views. So there's all sorts on here. Again, we've got 67 pages. So if you're looking for something specific, you'd probably use the search bar to find it. But these can be used as resources as well. So if you were, let me just scroll down, because COP26, I mean, that's, especially if you're working with slightly higher key stage 2 or into key stage 3, the understanding behind COP and their views, COP26 and their views, and the development and the understanding and the language and what would come out of it is really great. So you could use it as a starting point, everything you need to know about COP26, and you could go from there. You could have a look through and find something on, there's so much there. I could go on and on. International Day of Peace, that would be a lovely one to look at with the children in your class. Voices from Our Earth. And then some interesting nature. There's just so much. You could go on and on. But that's the website. And I think I've covered all I need to. So if I just come back to my PowerPoint. So just before I do finish, the things I absolutely love about Roots and Shoots are that it's free. Of course, making a donation would be wonderful for Roots and Shoots. However, if you're not able to do that, for teachers just to go in and find something quite quickly that they'd really like to use and they can't make a donation, you don't have to. the cause is fantastic. I mean, you can probably tell from my presentation how much I love and I'm invested in Roots and Shoots, because I think it's so important. I think the lessons are great. There's lots of structure in there. If you look deeper, there's lots of content. There are great links if you're willing to go in and have a good look. The things I question a little bit, the navigation is just, I find on the resources section, a little bit difficult to find what you want within each section, and to see it clearly I found a little bit difficult to start with. It takes a lot of scrolling through. I think it could be organised maybe just a little bit easier for teachers to go in, especially if they are in a bit of a rush, which most of us are usually. You just want to dip in, you want to find what you want to find, and then you want to come out if you haven't got the time. I also think it would be good to have the age range on there. So again, you can see quite quickly, is this appropriate for my class, or is it worlds away from what they are able to do? Just a real simple Key Stage 1 or Key Stage 2 or Key Stage 3 would be fine, or an age bracket. And I also think it would be good to just have a brief overview of what each lesson covers, just so you can see really clearly that this has links to this, or you would be doing this, which is cross-curricular, would be super helpful. Again, mainly for teachers who are really wanting to find things quite quickly and don't necessarily have the time to go through it like I've done and take out the information that works for me. I hope you found today's tutorial useful and as inspirational as I have. And I'm here for any questions if you have any. Thank you for listening.
The tools that Roots and Shoots offers a teacher is all about making young children understand, what nature is made of and how they can become more confident and more environmentally conscious. So perhaps, Hannah, you have some suggestions as to, now having gone through the work of Roots and Shoots and the work of Jane Goodall, of what a teacher can do to build such confidence with students. So is there any, are there any kind of overall takeaways for you that you'd like to share with the audience?
I think if I was in the classroom going forward with Roots and Shoots, I think the first thing I would do is to speak to the children about what they're passionate about and go from there. What is it that what changes are they thinking that they want to make? Because I think part of being a great teacher is listening to the children and taking their direction, because you're there to empower them, but it's got to come from them to start with. So what is it they want to do, and what is it in your local environment that particularly needs that positive change? Is there a need for more hedgerows to attract wildlife? Is there a need for more pollinators? Is there a need for creating a pond to again attract more nature? I mean, we've got a big thing at the minute with hedgehogs in the UK that they are dying out. What can we do to help hedgehogs? So that's where I would start for sure, and just go and take it from the children, really, because you want it to be their project, because they're going to be a lot more inspired and passionate about it if it's come from them, rather than maybe you telling them what's going to happen. That would be my first step for sure with going forward with Roots and Shoots.
Thank you, Anna. That's great feedback, and I like what you said. Is also learn from the children as much as the children try to learn from us on that level. They also see and hear a lot, and they might be showing us the obvious for things that we're not even conscious of anymore. So I think that's one other related question I have with that, and you I believe you mentioned it earlier, is the support that is given to schools. So I think you addressed earlier that there's no real curricular reason for a teacher to look at such material, which I think is a wasted opportunity, really, also seeing it so important. What if anything do you think teachers in the UK can do against this?
I think at the moment it's just trying to just get it into the curriculum wherever you can, I suppose. I think it's such a shame, and I've thought it for a while, especially because it's such a huge topic and an important one, and it's vital. It's vital these children have this information, because they may not, they might be getting it from home. It's got to come from somewhere, and I think that's at the minute. I think it's teachers mainly doing it off their own back and thinking, actually, this is something that I am passionate about, and I really want to impart this knowledge and help the children understand and empower them. So I will make sure that when I teach my science topic, I will make sure I teach about it, or I will work the national curriculum objectives around it. I think that's the way that it would be at the minute. But there's such a heavy emphasis on the core subjects that it's hard to find time. That's the problem. It's all about time, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. And I think this is also the effort that Roots and Shoots is doing, is by making these resources available to you in an easy way, and also such a comprehensive way, giving you the entire recipe, if you will.
Exactly.
So you save time, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel yourself, which I think is is great, and hopefully will help a lot of teachers.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much, all.
Thank you.